Sensei Bud here with Gravity Martial Arts, and today I want to talk about what exactly we teach here at our academy. What do we teach? What's in our curriculum? What exactly makes up karate or martial arts in general? That's what I want to talk about today. There are some misconceptions that some people have about what the martial arts actually are. Some people think that learning martial arts means you're learning how to become violent, or you're simply learning how to fight. And while we do teach principles of violence as a means of dealing with other forms of violence to keep ourselves safe, we're not teaching people how to be violent. We're not teaching them to be violent. In fact, one of the main tenets of martial arts training is self-discipline, self-control, and a life of peace. Telling you everything that we teach here is well beyond the scope of this video, but I do want to give a general overview of what you'll find in our curriculum at Gravity Martial Arts. Let's start by discussing briefly the 5 physical elements of karate. We start off with striking, locking, throwing, choking, and grappling. Striking, your punches, your kicks, your elbow strikes, your knees, any open hand techniques that we use in our self-defense. Then we have locking, which is any kind of joint manipulation meant to either put a bad guy in a position they can't get out of, or as a means of controlling a violent person or trying to contain a violent situation. Then we have throwing, which is taking someone and actually taking them to the ground. So any kind of takedown, any kind of leg sweep, any kind of actual physical throw would fall under this category. Then we have chokes, which, contrary to the way it might sound, choking someone out is actually one of the more peaceful ways and merciful ways of rendering someone incapable of hurting you. So if I'm in a situation where I have to defend myself against someone who's being violent or a bad guy, and I end up choking them out, I'm simply rendering them temporarily unconscious. We teach primarily blood chokes, which is cutting off the supply of blood to the brain by closing up the carotid arteries. And so you apply the choke, they pass out, they're not gasping for air, they're not struggling in the sense of they feel like their life is in danger, but they simply drift away. And then you release the choke so you don't cause any permanent damage or any lasting damage to the bad guy, and it gives you a chance to be safe and secure. And then our final physical element of karate is grappling. That involves any kind of wrestling or struggling with someone who's latched onto you, and particularly ground techniques. We believe to have a well-rounded curriculum, we want to have a good sense of how to protect ourselves on our feet, as well as a strong sense of how to defend ourselves if we're taken to the ground. Many self-defense encounters, many fights on the street end up on the ground. And so if I'm not able to protect myself, if I don't know how to move or what to do when I'm off my feet, then I'm going to have a hard time in those scenarios. So we want to give our students a very comprehensive, well-rounded self-defense education. But what I really want to talk about today are what we call the 5 conceptual elements of karate. Now, what you're going to find as we go through these elements is that there's some overlap between them. There are some aspects of each element that are related to each other, though they are distinct, and I want you to understand the distinctions. And I also want you to understand that not every practitioner of the martial arts needs to be fully invested in each one of these elements. The journey of martial arts can be a very personal journey. You have your own goals, your own desires, your own needs, your own particular body type and mentality and personality. And so what we want to do here at Gravity Martial Arts is we want to make sure that every one of our students is being assisted in reaching their own personal goals, not just in martial arts, but in life. The first conceptual element of karate is self-defense. Now, we here at Gravity Martial Arts, we take pride in the fact that our curriculum is designed to provide a practical, realistic self-defense program to help you stay safe if you ever need to use it against an assailant or a bully or a bad guy on the streets. In our youth program, we have a fully fleshed out bully defense and anti-child abduction curriculum. And for both our youth and our adults, we have a very general self-defense program, how to stay safe, both with mental principles, social principles, as well as our physical techniques. Another conceptual element is competition. And we believe in the value of competition. We believe that if possible, you should compete at least at some point in your life, although you don't have to. But competition does teach us how to win with grace. It teaches us how to lose with dignity. It teaches us that there are goals worth struggling for, worth reaching for, and it challenges us, and challenges help us become better. And by competition, that could be a jiu-jitsu tournament where you're grappling, it could be a point fighting karate tournament, it could be kickboxing, it could go all the way up to mixed martial arts. Another important element of karate, of martial arts in general, is health and fitness. Now, whether you're competing or not, whether you are concerned about self-defense or not, one very important element should be that the martial arts lifestyle is one of healthiness. You don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to have six-pack abs or giant muscles or completely toned body, as long as you're healthy and living your best life through physical and mental and emotional wellness. Another conceptual element of karate is character development. Always working to better ourselves, not just better our martial arts, not just better our self-defense or our ability to fight, but bettering ourselves as people. One of the almost spiritual elements of martial arts is making ourselves a better version of who we are, bettering ourselves, being better today than we were yesterday. That's a goal. So being more caring, showing more respect. With our kids, we have a complete life skills program: self-discipline, courage, integrity, kindness, confidence. All of these are, to us, intrinsic elements of the martial arts. And then our fifth and final conceptual element of karate is lifestyle. So that if you're a practitioner of martial arts, you could practice it as a hobby and get a little bit of benefit out of it. We believe a little bit of martial arts is better than no martial arts at all. But for us, it's a lifestyle. It is something that molds us and transforms us. It's something that makes us better, not just on the floor, not just on the mat, not just in the dojo, but in every other aspect of life. So I take my black belt with me to any job I do, to any task I do, to any activity that I engage in. I engage in it as a black belt. And by black belt, I mean someone who strives to be their best, and someone who strives to learn, and someone who strives to grow, and someone who strives to succeed and accomplish their goals. And while there are some universal principles to a martial arts lifestyle, it is very much your own path, your journey. Do you want to be an athlete? Do you want to compete? Are you more concerned about self-defense? Maybe you're more into it as a hobby for self-expression. It is, after all, martial arts and not simply martial science. We can teach you all of the physical attributes. We can teach you how to fight, how to defend yourself, but there's more than that to karate. Running a kata can be a form of art. Overall, our goal in our martial arts training is to provide you with an education and a path for self-betterment. That's what makes up the martial arts lifestyle.